to the Maria Connection. Today we are filming our first themed episode, which is Friday the 13th. Cheers to Friday the 13th!
Hey.
Period.
Oh my God.
I can't reach.
Cheers!
Yeah.
Cheers!
Oh boy.
Cheers!
There we go.
Ghosts.
Ghosty.
I remember being in Mexico.
Boom.
We were visiting family. They were having it was a small town. My mom was visiting one of her friends, so I didn't know the fucking area. And everybody decides to go to a block party they're doing. Decided to stay home. I didn't want to go. I'm probably 12 at the time. I'm chilling. I know I'm alone. I'm watching TV, and then I hear fucking chains, like, sounded fucking heavy, but I know no one was there. I know there's nothing chained up above me, but I start hearing chains above the roof, exactly on top of me. So I'm over here fucking freaking the hell out, wondering what the fuck. And then I decided, fuck this, I'm leaving. But the thing is, the one house where her friend is at is separated from the rest of the fucking city, and it's a long stretch from where her house is, where there are lights, to where are lights in the city. So it's a big strip of absolute fucking darkness, and it's fucking 10, 11 p.m. at night. And if you've been to Mexico, it gets dark as shit at night. And apparently they had a fucking spider problem too, so there's huge fucking spiders everywhere on the road sometimes. So I, little kid, didn't fuck with the spiders, but I didn't fuck with the chains even more, so I decided to fucking run for it. I was running, so adrenaline was coursing through me. But I just fucking ran for my life. I made it to a block party, had some fun, and that's about it.
I don't really have a ghost story. I don't think I've ever encountered something where I'm like, no, questioning it, like, was somebody actually there? Like, no, I really was alone here.
Yeah.
But then when I do hear things like that, I don't like to give it my energy either. So let's say something is freaking me out, I won't pay no mind. So that's when I haven't had an experience where I did that and no, something hard continued and I actually know something else was there. I just don't like to
Play into it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Give it any type of attention or energy or anything. Nope, don't even come my way. Don't play with me. I'm good, thank you.
See.
And I feel like
Denial
not
key.
not a manifestation, but I'm really good at just keeping my headspace away from that kind of stuff. I'm not saying I discredit anybody who has a story, but it's I've heard some people's stories where I'm you know what? Yeah,
I'm good on that.
I'm good on all that. I'm not out here messing with somebody.
On that
I don't
note,
want
stay
that
away
kind of
from
karma.
me.
You hear that whole
You say
subplot,
fuck
but man, you went left, I would have went right and went home.
Exactly. I'm not the one who's gonna be out there running, making myself obvious to the serial killer. It just ain't me.
Oh, man,
It just ain't me.
We're the complete opposite. Dog.
No, I agree too though. For as much as I love scary shit, as soon as something is off, this is not my job.
Yeah,
I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not investigating nothing. I'm not fucking taking notes. Hell no. If I hear knocking and Javi's not here, honestly, I don't even shower when Javi's not here because I just get so paranoid. And I have cats, so obviously they'll be making noises, and I'll hear something and immediately I'll be or if I'll leave the door cracked and one of them will come in, the first thought on my mind is not, oh, it's one of the cats. It's always, I'm gonna get got. Immediately. So I deadass don't shower if Javi's not here.
Oh, okay.
Frank, your turn.
I'm the complete opposite. Now I run towards when I hear shit go bump in the night. I don't know. It's
Is that
always,
Salvadorian in you?
well, maybe because that's how my mom and my grandma were. My dad's just like her. She's like, man, I don't give a fuck. I don't I hear anything. I'm just like, man.
Yeah.
And he just watches his TV or ignores it, so he never tells me anything that's happening.
Tell the story about Odin.
Oh, so this one was more of a recent one. So, like I told y'all before, I live in my backyard, and I like playing horror games because they don't do anything to me.
You like playing what games?
Horror games.
Oh, horror.
Not horror games, no.
Yeah, I was like,
No, I like playing horror games because they're fun to me, and I always like seeing my friends get scared because to me I'm just like, oh, that's hilarious. So I was streaming, and right where my setup was, I have a window, and that leads to, you can see the front. You can see the entrance from the back of the house come to the backyard, and it was like I've always had this sense that I know when I'm being stared at, and I know somebody was staring at me through the window, but I didn't hear a door open, and it was already like 11, so everybody in the house is already and Edgar knows this, everybody in the house is already out by 9 or 10. So it was just okay, there's nobody home, there's nobody outside, but I know someone's staring at me. And even during the whole time, my friend messaged me the next night. She was like, "Hey, you okay? Cause you look tense, somebody something was happening."
From the stream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just but I was ignoring it, and then plus my husky at the time, he wasn't barking or anything, so I was like, cool, I'm listening to his intuition, he's chilling, then I'm alright. So I end the stream around 2:30, and I let him out, and he's okay, he's doing his business and everything, so I'm just alright, cool, I'm good. So by the time it's 3, I go back inside and I start going to sleep, and 30 minutes in, I wake up in the point of view of something staring at my house, and it's from the backyard, and it's staring right at it, and it's wobbling towards my little shack that I live in, and it stops at the rim of the light. So I wake up and I'm just sweating, and I see Odin in the living room part. He's just woof, woof, trying to get my attention. So I'm just ignoring him. I'm just look, dude, you already went outside. You used the restroom. It's over. I'm just gonna go to sleep. So I go back to sleep. 30 minutes. I wake up back in the same point of view, and I noticed it was really small because when it was passing by, getting closer to my door, it was we have a backyard. We have a table in the backyard, and it was kind of eye level to it. So it was walking, and then it stopped. And I wake up again sweating, and this time Odin and he's a huge, a big husky. And he's trying to wake me up, roof, roof. I'm just if you want to get on the bed, get on the bed. Not, then leave me alone. I go back to sleep, ignoring him. Then I wake up, back in the same point of view, and this time it's already starting to walk, and it kind of grabs the rail, and then it's just staring at the doorknob. Wake up again sweating, and this time Odin's in my closet. And he's just staring at me. And I'm just you know what? I'm fucking done with this, whatever. I get he left this little wooden sword from medieval times.
And for context, Odin is a half wolf, half husky mix.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's standing on 4s, I'm 6, he's 6'1", and Odin stands right to my waist. He's a big fucking guy.
Yeah, big boy.
When he stands on his back legs, he is taller than both of us.
Yeah, so he's just right there in the closet. I'm just man, fuck this. So I grab the sword, and I unlock the door. I tend the knob.
Don't now protest.
Yeah, I was just but I hold it, and literally whatever's in the other side can just push the door. But I feel, and I know somebody 100% is behind that door. But it wasn't fear that was holding me, but it was just a gut feeling, holding my spine, telling me, if you open that door, you're gonna
Oh my god, I would throw up.
Yeah.
So I'm just holding the door and thinking, it's just okay, whatever. If it's a person, they can open it. They can literally just push it, and we're just gonna go.
We're just gonna, the hands.
Yeah,
Got the
exactly.
hands.
Because it's what else am I gonna do? It's I'm not just not gonna bend over and just take it. So I was just all right, let's go. I'm at least gonna die fighting, and nothing. I lock the door back, and I just sit, waiting, and then 45 minutes later, I start hearing the roosters, and I start seeing the sun go up, and whatever presence I was feeling was gone. I fucking run, open the door, nothing. And I was just and then I look down, and I can see footprints, and I was just someone was fucking here.
Barefoot?
Yeah, and I was just someone was here.
I would have thrown up. That sounds so scary.
And I was man, fuck this. So I go back to sleep because I worked literally a couple hours, and my mom's just staring at me through like the restroom window, and I tell her like I'll fill you in later. And I go to work, I come back, and I tell her a whole story. She's like, "You're not scared of those things." I'm like, "I know, but like something was there." So literally for like 3 nights, I stayed in my backyard by myself until like 4 or 5 in the morning, just to see if anything was out there.
Nothing
Nothing.
again.
Never again.
That's really scary.
Yeah, the fact that you stayed out there.
Do you think like where you live currently like is haunted?
Probably, but I mean,
Okay, but like, was this? You said it was like small. Was it like a child or like?
that I don't know. It was limping. Like I've had experiences with witches before. A lot of them. I hate them.
What
But-
kind of experience?
Like owls, witches, or
Yeah,
like,
everything.
Thank you.
Sorry for the
So,
camera.
from my experience and from what I've told, you can tell a witch is because of their hands. Their hands are always ugly. They're like either like they're a beautiful woman, or a kid or whatever, or just like someone regular, but their hands are always ugly. So they have to wear gloves in order to change it. And for some reason, y'all know if you remember Chris Ramirez? For some reason, everything always happened when me and him were in his house or in his room. Something creepy always fucking happened, and it's only when me and him are together. Anytime, anything else, never. So this one, it was a time where he was having him and his neighbor were having a party. And since he lived close and another friend lived across the street, I was like, cool, me and him will meet halfway and then we'll meet up for the party. So I walked towards the main street, and it's pretty much dead. There's just cars passing by. And I look to the corner of my eye and I see this old lady just like popped out of thin air. She's super hunchback. And she's like shoulders towards me, and she's like hunched walking towards me. And I was just like thinking like where did she come from? She just like spawned magically. But I was like, all right, whatever. I'm just ignoring her, waiting for my friend. And she stops at the other side of the corner. And then she starts mumbling. But the mumbling starts getting louder and louder and louder. And I was just like, man, fuck this. So I was just like, fuck this. I'm leaving my friend. So I started walking away. And then someone just jumps on top of me. And I was just like, what the fuck? And it's just like, my friend's just like, bitch, you're leaving me. I was just like, yeah, you're fucking taking forever. And then this fucking old lady is just like, what old lady? I look back, gone.
Why are you so prone to hauntings?
yeah.
It's been like this since I was a kid. So we go there. We go to the party. We're jumping from his neighbors to his house. And the whole time, I know that there's somebody staring at us in the alley. I even asked Chris, was just like, we're being watched. He was just like, yeah, like I know. I was just like, oh, so you know? I was like, yeah, I know. I was just like, cool. So paid no mind to it. We're eating fajitas and everything. And then it's already time for us to leave. And we start walking. And when we're walking, there's like 3 owls that are like on a tree. And one of them was fucking huge, but it was so ugly. And I was just like staring at it, and I was just like, man, that's a weird place for owls to be. Because I've never seen them in our part of town. But I was like, whatever. They could just be migrating, whatever, so I don't pay attention. So we meet up back, we stop right when we were supposed to meet up. He goes a separate way. And when I'm walking back, it just turns from like I'm hearing crickets and just like other people, and it just turns dead silent.
That's so scary.
And I'm just like, something's gonna happen. So I'm just like walking, and I just start hearing flapping. I was just like, fuck.
Like bird flapping?
Yeah. So I was just like, fuck, it's that owl. So I start walking. It's like that whole SpongeBob meme was like, I'm walking. And I'm like running. I just start fucking peeling because I start hearing the wings getting higher and higher, like louder and louder. And I get there. I get home. I'm just like, all right, whatever. And at the time, I was sleeping in my older brother's room, which ends up being Edgar's room now, and right where the window's at. That's why I don't like sleeping next to windows. So I fall asleep next to the window, and it's already like 4 in the morning. I'm hearing like light tapping and scratching on the window, and then it starts waking me up. I'm just like whatever, what's going on? And then I hear it, and then I hear a scratch, and then I hear Chris, I was just like, what the fuck? And I opened the curtains, nothing.
You
It was just
opened
like,
the curtain?
yeah, I was like, fuck. I was just like, who the fuck is talking? Because I thought it was just like somebody I
Cover
knew.
over my head and acting like I'm not there.
100%.
So I'm just like, all right, whatever. And I just go back to sleep. I'm just like, man, screw this. So I go back to sleep, and then I'm like, fuck, I need to call Chris. And the minute I thought of him, he calls me. And then he was like, dude, you're not going to believe this. Like, when y'all left and everything, and I was already going to sleep, somebody started scratching and knocking at my window, and they said your name. The minute he said that, I dropped my phone.
Fuck?
I was like, no fucking shot. Like, and I told him the same thing, and he was just like, dude, do you think it was the thing that was watching us? And I was just like, maybe. Because that's like the second time we've experienced a witch at his house. But it's only there.
I actually just learned about the whole witches turn into owls thing. I did not know that that was a thing.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I had no idea that people believed that or said that. I
My
mean,
mom has always pushed that. She's all
Really?
like, no, like owls just ain't it. Like, no, you know. Because I'd be like, oh, look, it's so cute. Like, you see one at a zoo or something.
Yeah,
or
I love
outside
owls.
sometimes, you know, and they're sitting by themselves and stuff. I'd be like, oh, look, how cute. And my mom's all like, no, like, if you're going to learn something, is we don't fuck with owls. That's it. You know, like,
Damn.
so point blank period.
Winnie the Pooh had us fucked up then because the owl was the really smart wisdom. Like I always
Exactly.
thought owls were wisdom.
Yeah, like my mom has always pushed that on us, but I never like I said, since I've never had something truly happen to me like that,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't
It's
see.
one of those things that
yeah,
you
I was
just-
like
yeah.
an open mind on owls. Like, okay, I know what my mom be telling me, like I get it,
Yeah.
but I've never seen an owl that like I feel like you'd pick up on that vibe, you know, like
Yeah.
you know, hey, like what the fuck, something's wrong here, like this. I don't know, I've never
Yeah.
gotten this from an owl before, you know, but like I've never experienced an owl that like truly gave me like a bad feeling.
When the rumors about, because I really like the Bohemian Grove conspiracy theory.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
And
know
it's
what
like
it
one
is.
of their effigy, right, that they're burned during one of their like main rituals or whatever. It's a giant owl.
Yeah.
I forget which god it is or which deity it is because it is one of them. But when I first learned that a couple of years ago, I was like, how interesting. And then of course I was thinking about that Drake uses an owl for OVO and like all of those other little fucking like subliminal, may not be the word, but all those other like breadcrumbs that kind of like tie all these things together. So it makes sense. And I literally just found out about the owl is witches things literally like 4 months ago on TikTok.
They're also tied to like aliens of how people have gotten abducted, and they say
Owls?
they see.
Yeah.
It's because they say grays have been quote like kind of like confused as owls, because like when people have had recollections of being abducted, they said that they've seen a pack of owls around them, but in reality it's because they're seeing grays.
What's that fucking movie that had
The fourth encounter.
The Fourth Encounter? That's a
Oh, I've
good
never
fucking
seen that
movie.
one.
Watch
Yeah,
it.
me neither. I've never seen that one either.
Preface this, I'm really bad at telling stories, and like we kind of need a backstory to get into like all the other
We got
stories,
time.
and this is kind of a lot. So, rewind. My dad's ex-partner, his parents got sick, and they had this 2-story house in Garland, so we moved in. Now, you know when you feel something, you feel something.
Yeah.
Like you know, like I'm not the only one here. Whatever.
Mhm.
So eventually, like, I just always had that feeling like there's something else here. And then eventually I heard a story about the guy who built the house, and his name's actually spelled out in the tiles on the back patio. His
Dang,
name was
that's Charlie.
Charlie. So his parents dealt with Charlie, his ghost,
Yikes.
spirit, energy, whatever. And he would just like mess with the lights, open the kitchen cabinets and stuff like that, whatever. And like his mom was Native American, so she was very spiritual.
Oh, love.
So, you know, she picks up on that energy too.
Mhm.
Anyways, so then his mom passes, because that's why we moved, because his parents were sick. And his mom passes away. And I was a kid, so like we had, like all my little friends would come over and we do like a slumber party, whatever.
A kid like how old? Sorry.
I want to say I was like 9 or 10 maybe.
Okay.
So my friends and their little siblings, their younger siblings, were running up and down the stairs, just up and down, up and down. My dad's ex's mom, super strict, like do what I say when I say to do it, don't be disrespectful, stay clean, like all that kind of stuff. And they were running up and down the stairs, and they all ran up and then they all ran down at once, and they were like freaked out, and we're like, what is wrong with you, you're being weird. And they described his mom to a T. long
shit.
gray hair, like down past her butt, like
Yeah.
long nails, blah blah blah. Like described her perfectly, and that was creepy as hell. Anyways, so we're living in the house, we're renovating it, and I'm sleeping in the room towards the front right corner. And it's not my room, but we're renovating my room, so I can't move in there yet. And the door didn't close all the way. Which I sleep with my door closed until I became an adult and lived by myself, and I had to let my cat in. I always slept with my door closed because I don't want nothing coming in, right?
Yeah.
So the door didn't close all the way, which drove me crazy. And when you're looking out the door, you can see the bathroom and you can see the mirror, which freaks me out.
I
I
don't
hate
sleep
looking
with
in
mirrors.
dude.
Yeah. Mirrors don't go
Hate
from
that.
my bed.
I don't like it. And I always just felt like there's something there.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, like, you know, his mom's not a bad energy. Like, she has no ill intention. But I didn't know if it was her or something else.
Yeah.
But I just knew something was there. Fast forward, I move into my room finally. And at night, I would always sleep with my radio on. You know, it's the one where you, like, move it and it gets staticky and then it
Oh,
goes to the
yeah.
next station.
Oh, don't like that either.
So I did that because I always did that. And I had to sleep with music. And I would be laying in bed and I'd wake up middle of the night and it's getting staticky and staticky, so I get up to fix it, goes back perfectly fine. I lay back down, it gets staticky and staticky, I get up to fix it, it goes back to fine. So something is messing with my radio
Yeah.
to get my attention.
This song sucks.
But I have that energy where I'm like, I don't want nothing to do with it. Like, I know you're here, but I don't want to play into it. So I ended up just stopping sleeping with my radio on. And then one day, you know when you get your first phone, the little brick phone with like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm blow drying my hair and it's sitting face up on my dresser, and I'm sitting on the floor blow drying my hair, and a bunch of numbers just start pressing. Nope, end, flip over. Which now thinking back, I'm like, I wish, because you know, like you press numbers several times to type
Make the
something out.
message, yeah.
I wish I would have tried to read that, but I didn't. And then, like I said, I slept with my door closed. So the new room, my door closes. I'm passed out, dead asleep, and my door just flies open one night. I'm like, this is like, after it's progressing, this is like one of the last instances. And I was like, I'm done with this. Like, I'm telling my dad, you're fucking with me too much. Like, I can't do this.
That's scary.
And so I was like, I can't. Like, usually I would have just like covered my head, go to sleep, whatever. I was like, I can't do this no more. So I rushed into my dad's room and was like, something just opened my door, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, it's the house settling. It's an old house. I'm like, no, my door sticks when you close it because it's an old house.
Yeah.
And it's hard to open. My door just flew open. And then the cat ran inside 10 seconds after.
Yeah.
Like, no, there's
No,
something here.
Don't play with me.
Mm-mm. Nope, too much.
Was the creepy kid growing up? Like, we used to live in this apartment complex. It was just a basic fucking apartment complex, right? But behind it, there was a creek that ran all the way back. And we used to live on the second floor, and it was, you know how like apartments, you can go through the building, right?
Mhm.
So we lived in one of those that go through the building, so right behind is the creek, and we lived on the second floor. I used to sleepwalk, like out of my house and just go stand at the
Oh,
creek.
no.
Like a fucking psychopath. But when I was around that age, we had a cleaning company, or my mom and my older sisters, they had a cleaning company, and they would go clean offices. And there were a couple of instances where just like real creepy shit happened. So like there was one interior design office that we would go clean, and I used to love that office because I thought it was so cool because they had all of these swatches and they worked with architecture, so you would get to see like the layout. Like it was just like a cool place for a kid to be, you know what I mean? And so I remember one time we were there cleaning, and it was really late at night because I think we just happened to be running behind that day. And so we ended up getting there like it was like past dark. And when we got there, you know how like computer screens, like especially in offices, like if you don't program it to lock when it goes to sleep, if the mouse moves, then it'll wake up
Yeah.
and it will just be like the computer will be open. So a lot of them was like that. But so a couple of the computer screens were sleeping, but they weren't locked. And so one of the desks that I was dusting, I thought that I accidentally clicked something on the keyboard because it woke up. And I was like, oh shit. But then and that was the keyboard. I thought I clicked the keyboard because I was dusting the keyboard. But then the mouse wasn't moving, but the mouse was moving.
Oh.
And so I was like, that seems wrong. And so I went to go tell my older sister because my older sister has always been, or one of my older sisters has always been a very spiritual person. And I was like, hey, so this just happened, super weird. And then like 3 of the other computers did it.
Oh no.
And then we were like, and at that point my sister was like, we're almost done, it's fine, just stay with me. And I was like, okay, cool. So then I stayed with her the rest of the night or whatever. And then when we were going home for a quick second, she looked in the back mirror and she got real scared for a second and like swerved. But then she was like, no, it's fine, like nothing happened. And then later on, she told me that one of our dead uncles was in the back seat and he was just like chilling.
I just got the chills.
Yeah.
I have a dead uncle ghost story too.
Yeah?
So 2 of my uncles lived in my family's. We live in trailers and shit, you know. So one of my uncles lives here, and then on the lot next door, my other uncle lives there. My uncle killed himself, and a few years later, so the house is empty, right? So a few years later, my other uncle kind of took over the house, so like our other family could stay there sometimes. And my cousin, she was asleep in the bed, and she like felt something touch her forehead, almost like it kissed her. And then she saw them walk by the end of the bed. And I was like, do you think that's him? And then after that, another family moved in and they had a baby, and they would hear the baby up at night playing.
That's so scary. That scares the fuck out of me because I fully do
Babies
believe that
freak me
babies.
out,
Oh,
dude.
Yeah, babies and
The only
animals,
thing
for
that's like
sure.
comforting with that is that like the only, to my knowledge, what I would think is like, oh, it's him, because like he was always playing with the kids, like that was him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's kind of comforting, but also still freaky. I would freak
Yes.
out.
I would freak the fuck
Baby's
out.
laugh is adorable until you realize you don't have.
And I have
baby.
nothing to play with. Like,
That's
what are you laughing with, baby?
That's what I'm saying. Like it's adorable until you realize you don't have a baby.
I don't know what I would do if I was home by myself one day and I heard a baby in my apartment
It's just
laughing.
like, hey, the baby's happy. Wait, I don't have a baby.
I would
Stop.
I would throw up.
Piggyback to when you said you sleep with music, I sleep with music. I actually have a
I don't do
playlist.
it no more.
I have it on my phone, but there's a reason. So, when I was a kid, I always had, like I said, I've always had this sense when I know that someone's here, and then like, there's something that my dad doesn't even know, that like he used to be an alcoholic and everything, and I always woke up right when he was driving home, like pulling up to the street, and he would come to the house. I would help him get in the house, change, use the restroom, go to sleep. And I've told my mom this, but he doesn't know. But like, I've always known that someone's here. And for a while, I started hearing like whispering. And at the time, it was just me, my older brother, and my parents in the house. And I would hear some like people whispering around like 3 a.m. And I would get up and I was just like, what the fuck's like whispering loudly? And I'd go check, there's nobody there. So like this was Monday. So each day it started progressing and the voice started getting a little bit louder. And I was like, I keep on checking, I keep on going. I look, I'm just like, okay, maybe they're like talking about something. Cause I think about the time it was like around maybe like, I think like my birthday or Christmas. So I was just like, okay, maybe they're plotting. or
Plotting,
something.
yeah.
But like every time I'll check, there's nobody there. I'll check in the room, they're dead asleep. I'm just like, fuck, like, this is annoying. Then I started making out like little words like we, them, or like just like random words, and I was just like, okay, like I'm starting to hear it, so I'm like focusing on the talking. But I think it was like Friday night or Saturday night. I started like, I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna catch whoever's talking this time. So I'm like trying to go to sleep, and it's like dead silent, and I started hearing like mumbling, like, and then out of nowhere it stops, and then it's like, be quiet, he's listening to us. And it was right behind me. That was the first time I've actually had genuine fear. I was like, fuck this, I'm turning on TV. And then since that day, I was like, cool, I need to start listening to music, because dead silence, I start hearing like people. And after that, I was just like, no. And when we started sharing the room before I had my separate one, everybody that stayed with me, like I always tell them, hey, I listen to music because that's the only way I can sleep. Because if not, I start hearing things at the dead of night. And from then, since like I think like it's been close to 20 years now that I've been listening to music.
That is
Sleeping.
so scary. I would throw up in any of those situations.
I had a friend, I used to stay the night at her house, we're like best friends, whatever, and this was in high school, and I woke up one night and she was like flipping out, but she was asleep, but she's like trying to move, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like trying to actually wake her up, because I'm like, are you possessed? Like, what's going on? You're being weird, dude. And I finally wake her up, and she like wakes up, and then she goes back to sleep, and she's calm. And then the next morning I was like, yo, like, this happened last night, are you good? And she was like, dude, like, I had like a demon clawing at my legs. I was like, girl, not all that. I was like, no, I'm here, shawty. Like, I'm not coming over again.
Girl, you had what?
Yeah, no. Well, she was super religious. Like, I actually went to church. I'm not religious, but I went to church with her and stuff to like,
Yeah.
like maybe that's what I need to, I don't know. But yeah, I was like, I'm not coming over no more, actually.
These things tend to like claw on people. They attach. That's why when you go to like places like haunted houses or like
Yeah.
things,
I don't do that, honey. I want to punch
People-
somebody in the face.
people
Don't
those
touch me
things
and don't get in my
attach
face.
themselves to
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
and they
I'll go
just
to the really,
feed
really
off
fake
of it.
ones. But if they're like, oh, we restored this fucking 700-year-old house. Oh, okay, cool. Actually, that's a lie, because we went to San Jose last year, actually, and we did go to the Winchester house. And I'm not gonna lie, I loved every minute of it. And we definitely caught a fucking ghost on camera. Get this shit, yo. So, in front of the house, so you know, okay, do y'all know what the Winchester house is?
I don't think so.
Okay, so
For
the
the people
Winchester
who
house.
don't, go for
So
it.
the Winchester house is this house in San Jose. The Winchester people who made the guns, I don't know time frames and shit like that, but back in the day, the people who, you know, the Winchester brand that makes like bullets and guns and shit like that. I guess he was very ahead of his time, that man. I also don't remember his name, but he made all of these killing tools, right? And so him and his wife get married or whatever. He dies, and also this woman had so much bad luck. Like, it wasn't like just the husband died. Like, I think it was like the son died, like maybe all of their kids died or some shit like that. Like, basically
The mansion, right?
the mansion, yeah. A bunch of fucking people died. And so then she started to be haunted. And she basically said that she was seeing, that she felt such immense guilt from the money that she made, how she made it, because her husband made, at the time, the perfect killing machine. And I wish I remembered the details, because it was like a huge advancement in weaponry at the
I think
time.
it was a machine gun. I think it was a Gatling gun. One of those.
It was one of them that was like literally like he for real like revolutionized
Yeah.
the way we fucking kill people. And
Oh.
so yeah.
Lovely.
And so she said that she felt like she was being haunted by all of the people who had died because of that. And so the house is so renowned because there's stairways that lead to nowhere. There's doors that open, and if you walk out, you'll literally fall like to your death. Like, it's like high enough to where if you fall, you'll definitely break some shit. There are like themed rooms that, and it's just like kooky shit, like just really weird shit that people are like, why would you spend all of your money like doing this? Because when she started renovations, she did not stop through the time that she died. Like, she just kept building rooms, she kept making add-ons to the house, she kept building new staircases that led nowhere, like all of these creepy fucking things that people just really are like why are you doing this? And she was like, it's to confuse the spirits. Like, it's because they'll be looking for me and they won't be able to find me, because the house is, there's like secret rooms, secret passages, there's like, you know, obviously like one way to get somewhere, but in the room there's like an escape room or like a little like tunnel or something like that. And a lot of it is still under renovation, because I guess there was an earthquake in San Jose, maybe the early, I wish I remembered, I'm so bad at dates and shit, but there was an earthquake that fucked up a lot of the house. And even now, like when we went last year, a lot of it is still not safe for tourists to go be a part of, because there was so much damage to like the foundation. Because again, when she started building shit, she never stopped. Like, there was always people in and out of the house. She just didn't want to be alone there. And yeah, so that's why it's this really like big fucking like ordeal. And I'm not gonna lie though, it was super fucking cool. Like I said, we didn't get to see the whole thing. Okay, so anyway, so when you're leaving, she has this garden, and she has a bunch of like, what are those little like naked baby angels? Cherubs? Is that what they are? Or no?
Cherubs.
Cherubs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, she had this garden, like if you're looking at the house, like what would be the front door, right? That's not how you go into it, but if it was a regular house, what would be the front door and like the lawn and stuff like that? She had these like little like cherub statues, right? And so me and Javi were taking pictures when we were on our way out. And he took a couple of pictures of me in front of the house. And so I'm in front of the house, and obviously it's not like a great quality picture because I'm little, it's dark, and the house is like massive. And in one of the windows, in one of the pictures he took when we zoomed all the way in, and literally because my stupid ass was like, I wonder if we got a ghost. And so I was like zooming into all of the pictures, and sure enough, there was a face in one of the fucking windows. But then when he sent me the picture, it wasn't in my picture. Like when he sent it to me, like the one that came through on my phone. But then I went back on his phone and I was like, I'm not crazy. Like I know I wanted to see a ghost, but I'm not fucking crazy. Like, and like for a while we were like showing people, like, you see that fucking face there, right? Like, right? And it, like I said, it wasn't on my phone. And then I completely forgot about that experience until a couple of months ago. And I was like, oh babe, do you still have that picture? Let me see it. And I went back and I couldn't find the fucking face.
You ever been to Louisiana?
No, but I want to so bad.
So I went with my dad and my mom because they were going for a convention, and since they were doing their own thing, I was by myself. I was just like, you know what, like this place has so much rich history with voodoo and everything.
Yes.
I was like, you know, I'm just gonna go check, and literally right when I was walking, the freaking one of the dudes, the host, he was just like, oh, you look like somebody that wants to go on a ghost tour. I was just like,
Got me.
sure,
Yeah.
let's go. And I was just like, I wanted to, because they had the boat there, and I was like, cool, I wanted
That's
to go check it
so
out.
cool. I do want to do that.
But the boat was closed, but it was like, yeah, you can take the tour through the city. And I was like, all right, sure. So they took me through it, and they were showing me like the places where like said vampires lived, or like people have been murdered and everything.
Yeah.
And we went to where the place that inspired, I think it was the Haunted Mansion.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was walking, I was by myself, and when I was walking, there was a woman in red, and she was holding my hand. And I was just like, oh, I thought she was like, I was like, oh, I guess like the dude was like trying to scare her, but
Yeah.
if she was holding my hand, I was just like, clear as day. I was just like, all right, cool. I was just like, cool, I guess I got
gonna go
somebody.
with it.
I got somebody with me today. All right. So we go and we get to the big parlor, and he's like talking and explaining everything. He's just like, yeah, this is where the place was famous for, the lady in red. And they said that they've seen her, people have seen her and everything. And I looked to my left, my right, she's like, there's nobody there. I was like, there was a lady here.
Love you.
Yeah, and I was looking through the whole crowd of everybody that was here. I was just like, okay, there's not a single woman in fucking red. Ain't no fucking way I was holding this chick's hand for like 5 fucking minutes. And I'm like looking around, and then the tour guide's looking at me. He's just like, you're all right? And I told him like, hey, I'm not trying to say anything or do anything, but literally right when we got here and going up the stairs and you were doing your whole bit to scare people, there was a chick that was holding my hand, and she was here, she was holding my hand, she was wearing a red dress, and right when we got into the party and you started talking about it, she's gone. And he was like, you sure you're not pulling my leg? I was like, no, nothing. And so
I'm
like,
so
he was just
sorry.
like, and he was, and he told the whole tour about it. And he was just like, you're not the first person to encounter this. Like, I've had like every so often somebody in the tour has gotten an experience or seen somebody.
Yeah.
But the fact that you held somebody's hand like that, that is crazy to me.
That is crazy.
I was just like, well, fuck it, I'm going home. So I fucking walked back, and like the city was like lively as hell.
Of course, I bet.
There was people like trying to read tarot cards and everything and do stuff. I was just like, nah, you just in for the money.
I fucking love Louisiana lore, like so bad. And again, I believe in a little bit of everything. So the vampires, the fucking vampire and werewolf war, like I know it sounds ridiculous in 2024, but I also feel like it's more ridiculous in 2024 to not be like, well, maybe. Like, just because I've never seen it doesn't mean, like, obviously if it's been thousands of years, of course they know how to fucking blend in and hide from us. Like, and I also do believe that Hollywood does give us a little bit. Like, I feel like that has to come from somewhere.
Oh yeah, I mean, shit, we barely got the whole confirmation of aliens. I mean, for like when you're talking about conspiracies, one of my favorites is the Men in Black,
Mm-hmm.
because of how much they've been documented, and then they tied to two of my favorite cryptids, which is the Mothman and Indrid Cold.
And which one?
Indrid Cold.
What's that?
So Injured Code was a man that actually his first encounter was on my birthday. Is when they started getting a lot of reports of Mothman, but they're also getting reports of UFOs. So that's why people started speculating that Mothman was attached to UFOs or he was an alien that was left behind. Same thing like the Chupacabra. And for some, there was a man that was driving down the street and he stopped because he encountered, I think it was either Mothman or UFO. And literally 5 minutes later, a well-dressed man showed up to him. And he was smiling from grin to grin. And he's also known as the Smiling Man. And he asked him, like, did you see that? Did you encounter that? Mm-hmm. Like, what did you think that was? And he was getting a lot of information from him, and then he vanished.
Yikes.
But then more people in the town were every time they encountered either Mothman or UFO, they encountered Injured Code, but then they also encountered the Men in Black because they started showing up in a lot of places. And then the whole thing with Men in Black also being kind of convinced as aliens as well, because of how hairless and they are with how people have encountered them.
Oh, yeah.
What do y'all think really happened in that Miami mall a
Oh,
couple
the
of months
whole
back?
alien thing.
The
that's
alien
on?
portal thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So like
Edgar?
in Miami, there was people saying that they were like.
Oh, is
They're
this where
running.
they have like cops outside?
Yeah,
They
like
were,
surrounded and
yeah.
it's like
I don't know the whole like backstory, but I think I saw a couple
So
of videos.
so there's a lot of things. They're saying some people were saying there were people fighting, that there were people fighting in the mall, and that's what caused the riot. But and then a lot other people are saying that they witnessed like 8 foot tall beings in the mall, and then that's when like helicopters and police sirens started showing up because a lot of people were like, why are this much cops showing up for just like a bunch of kids just fighting? So like that's where people were saying, and it was right in the same time where people were saying like, oh, the government confirmed aliens, and then same thing I think where the Vegas kid and his family encountered the aliens.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. In their
Yeah,
backyard,
that
right?
guy actually
Yeah.
caught it on
Yeah.
camera.
There was a couple that were in the camera, I think, but like there was the main one. You see, that's what stops me is like my ass would just run over there and be like, fuck it, take snap, be like, all right, I'm out.
Exactly.
I'm
Like,
out
you know
there.
what
I
always
don't
blows
give a
me
shit
off?
who
That,
believes
like,
I saw it or not. I'm out.
when people see stuff like that, it's never clear. Like, how are we in 2024 and you're telling me the Samsung can like zoom into the moon, but you didn't catch that encounter clearly? Like,
Fucking
come
30
on.
feet away in your
Yeah,
backyard.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, come
Well,
on.
it's because it's just the notion of fear. It's just like that. I mean, that's the main reason why we have anxiety and fucking adrenaline. Is like your adrenaline is like sixth sense. Like, all right, I got a book, I gotta go. Cause like I played the reason I know a good amount of cryptids is because I used to play this game called Medicine. It was a game based on cryptids.
Fun.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I traveled all through the U.S. because of that game, and I went to New Mexico, and I was talking to a lot of people because the set that just came out was called UFO, so it was like based on like UFO encounters through the whole U.S. And then the next set was going to be in Salem for Seance, which Salem's amazing.
I bet. I'm so jealous.
It is straight up best example I can give you. It feels exactly like Halloween Town.
Really?
Oh my god, I love
It
that.
is
They make it seem that way
amazing.
too.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen a lot of TikTok
That
videos
place
about it.
is lit. But like, when I was talking to people, they're like, what would you rather encounter, a ghost or an alien? And everybody said ghost. And I was like, man, ghosts can't do shit. An alien, we know nothing about them.
Yeah.
Like, we know movies or hypothetical, but for all we know, I can just shoot them with a gun and nothing happens. It's like, what am I supposed to do? That's GG's. That's like nothing you can do.
I personally fully subscribe to the belief that aliens are already among us.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Like 100%. Like definitely on some Men in Black the movie type shit where they just hide. I've believed in reptilians since fucking 09. Since before I knew that you can be a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, yeah.
Like
you know what
on
I'm saying?
some
Like,
real conspiracy theorist shit, that shit where they're like, oh, they like literally made a mask of that person's face, and that's not
Yes.
actually the celebrity or whoever you think it is. It's
oh
the person
yes,
with the mask.
I love the cloning theory. Oh, that's one of my favorite fucking theories. I fully believe all of Hollywood, or at least a majority of Hollywood, shares some of the same DNA. Like when you look at all of these people who look alike, regardless of race or whatever. Like there's so many
Well, because it's like a lot of it is just tied down to like family lineage. Like I think there was I remember there was a report that a girl won her school fair because she found out that there was like all our presidents were related some way.
What?
And
be
it
nice
made
to
news
me?
for a bit, but like it was like it was showing how Barack Obama, George Washington, George Bush, they were all related some way or form.
I'm actually reading Behold a Pale Horse right now.
That is also
Behold a Pale Horse. And it talks about all of the secret societies and exactly how everybody's interconnected and how everything to a degree is predetermined. And it's like you have to be in this club and like the presidents are not who we really think they are. And like
The Skull and
a
Bones.
president, yeah, like a president doesn't, yeah, he swears an oath to the United States, but the oath that he swore to his brethren, whether it be, I don't even remember because it's like Brotherhood of the, like there's so many of them that are all operating intertwined but completely separate. And so whatever like brotherhood you decide to like pledge your allegiance to, it doesn't matter if you're the president, that comes first. And like it ends up going into like the whole New World Order thing and stuff like that.
The Denver airport.
That makes
The horse
sense.
with the giant penis that's just like
And
right
the red
there.
eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the statue one that's outside?
When you're driving into the airport, you see the big.
Because I do love all the conspiracy theories and like, do y'all believe do y'all believe that it's like a bunker for the rich underneath there or what?
I mean, I wouldn't say just for that, but like I would say that there's bunkers all over the world. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, I definitely believe there are bunkers all over the world, but like one of the things that I read was basically there is a whole operational little city underneath there for the rich.
For the rich.
Yeah. And also, I really don't, when it comes to conspiracy theories, again, I believe in a little bit of everything, so I don't be fact-checking shit. So I did see something a long time ago that at the time that the conspiracy theories about the Denver airport really started like coming on the internet, that somebody had found a bunch of properties that really rich people had started buying in the general vicinity of the Denver airport. And supposedly all of those houses also have like it's tunnels.
Connected, yep.
Yeah. So that they can easily get there, and it's like a full-on fucking like city. And underground cities have been proven to be a thing, but it's for like different like escape routes for like the president and stuff like that.
I mean,
like
shoot,
where it's
look
fully
at,
operational.
Look at Disney World. They have underground tunnels everywhere. That's how their people go through.
Did y'all see that little girl that went missing in the Disney World bathroom? And then they literally said that like they saw the fucking tile in the bathroom shift, and Disney was just like, "Sorry, we don't know what you're talking about."
That was the mom. The mom was the one that's like, "No,
I
found her. I know what I saw."
Yeah.
And that the cops go, and then they're like, "Okay, well, let's try it," and that it would not work for them. So they're like, "No, something else had to have happened. Like they pretty much told her like, "No, you're tripping. Nothing was here. Look, we're trying and nothing's working." Like,
Yeah.
and she's like, "I know what I saw," but I feel like as a mom, like you would know,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know? Like you're not
100%.
gonna let that shit go. I don't care what you're telling me right now. I know 100 what I saw. Like I'm not letting it go.
A
Nope.
mom's intuition.
Yeah,
I am going on
Never
record
knew.
saying Disney is so
Intuition,
evil.
dude.
Disney is so fucking evil. There's that other lady who apparently told them, who just very recently she died, and she told them over and over that she was allergic to whatever it was, peanuts maybe, or like she had like a really bad peanut allergy. Apparently, because he had a free Disney subscription.
Yes. What?
Apparently, that means that if you die anywhere on the Disney vicinity, that you can't sue them.
See, that's why I need to start reading subscription.
Isn't that crazy shit?
I need to start reading
South
the
Park
terms.
tried to fucking tell us.
South Park, yeah.
South Park tells us
South
everything.
Park.
Are
And
you-
The Simpsons. The Simpsons be
Are
not.
you willing to get your mouth sewn into someone's ass? No. Simpsons, on the other hand, that's a different story. That's
I actually never I have seen like the comparisons with like the 9/11, but I also remember when somebody did like a deep dive on cartoons and like Johnny Bravo also had hints of like 9/11.
Oh,
Yeah, and I didn't
never
even
saw
know.
that.
Yeah, do y'all believe 9/11 was an inside job?
yeah, 100%.
I totally believe
False flag
9/11. 100%. Do you have a stance on 9/11 inside job?
I think it's all bullshit.
I mean,
I mean, everything's all bullshit.
Like
So,
the
I mean,
moon landing?
they showed.
I believe that's fake too.
Demolition
Stop
Man.
that.
I saw something about that on Twitter the other day, and I was like, look,
They made
like
a movie.
as much as I see them talk about like the moon landing being fake and like seeing the like little
Yeah.
clips or whatever, I'm like,
Bitch, I got so deep in a fucking Antarctica fucking, what are they called? Like the little, when you go down a rabbit hole. I was so close to becoming a flat earther, y'all. So fucking close. I got so deep in that goddamn Antarctica.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this should make a lot of sense.
wait, Antarctica and flat Earth, what?
Because they believe there's walls and they can see them, so then they're like, no, like there's nothing beyond.
That's
like,
it's the wall to the outer world. Like you know how
Yeah,
like
so-
Lord of the Rings and like all these different
Which is technically that.
the
whole premise
the,
of
the dark continent.
continent.
Yes,
The
I
dark
can't
continent.
wait for this new season of Hunter x Hunter, y'all. I was also seeing, you know, the ant people,
Oh yeah, that's where they came from.
the Chimera ants, and I was thinking about that, and I was like, fuck, they be trying to tell us.
Stuff like that. Look, like stuff has always been embedded in history, and the whole thing with the whole 9/11, why it's in cartoons, it's like I forgot what it's called, but it's like something subliminal, but like it's them telling you without
Oh,
saying
subliminal programming, maybe.
something like that. But it's like the whole thing is like why you can't be mad at them or whoever they are is because they tell you in real time. So it's like, for example, me telling you constantly, I'm gonna hit you one day. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you, and you're just not doing anything. The signs are there. I'm going to hit you one day, but you're just ignoring it. But and then when I do finally hit you, in your mind you're thinking, oh, why the fuck did it hit me?
yeah, like why would he ever do
Yeah,
this?
but in reality, it's like, no, I've been telling you from the get-go, I'm
Yeah.
going to hit you one day. But that's the whole premise, and that's why
Yeah.
like it's so sublime in media and cartoons. It's like they tell you, hey, 9/11 is gonna happen. It's been in freaking Back to the Future and everything. Like it's like 9/11, 9/11. This was like stuff happening before it, and then when it finally happened, you can't be mad because they've been telling you
Yeah.
for decades, for years, but you just ignored it.
Fuck, that's crazy. Subliminal messaging does scare the fuck out of me. It's actually one of the, because I used to listen to music to go to sleep also, and then I saw Josie and the Pussycats.
So,
And then I was like, what is this music telling me when I'm sleeping? And at the same time, when I was a kid, I was never anxious. But like as I got older, I started to have anxiety and like all these things that before truly was never a problem. And so then I saw Josie and the Pussycats, and of course, so I was like, fuck, like that's crazy. And then of course I went down a rabbit hole and started looking into it and shit like that. And then I was like some people actually do believe that like music definitely does add to anxiety and stuff like that because there is under tracks and like
Yeah,
certain
the
like
different
ohms
tones and
yeah.
stuff, like they influence different feelings. Yeah.
Yeah.
like the whole Pokemon theme song, Hail Satan.
Really? No, I didn't know about that. What?
That was like where the old theme songs were like when they were trying to tell people like Pokemon's the devil and all that stuff, and when you hear it backwards, it's like I love Satan.
Oh my god, I used to love going on YouTube and listening to popular songs played backwards. Like Jay-Z was a big one. Like,
Oh my
like
gosh,
everybody
yeah.
put his shit backwards.
One of the biggest ones was Paul McCartney's dead.
I don't know. Expand.
So the whole thing was that Paul McCartney got replaced with with another lookalike.
Yeah.
Like
I
Avril
love that.
Lavigne.
Like Avril
Yeah.
Lavigne.
Like
I love that.
Avril Lavigne.
So apparently, I think Paul Walker got in a car accident and died. And Beatles was such a huge thing at the time. Where
Oh, I
it
have
caused
heard
them-
about this.
caused them
Yeah.
so much commotion that they thought like, yo, this can cause a mass suicide. Which I mean, we've seen it plenty of times how people tend to take artists as gods.
Yeah,
and
they
worship
look.
them.
They look.
I mean, shit. Look at Michael Jackson. The man will just stand there
And people would
and
faint.
people faint.
Yeah.
And then
That's
when he died, I
crazy.
think a couple of people like off themselves as well.
That's insane.
So the thing is that the government, MI5, which is like the CIA for England, they thought that people would, like a lot of young women will mass suicide because Paul Walker died in an accident. So they hosted a Paul McCartney lookalike contest that they found the guy, they got him, they added him to the group, but apparently John Lennon and I think the other ones and George felt guilty, So they started putting subliminal messages up in the backs, in the end tracks of all their records, that they will say Paul McCartney's dead, he died in an accident, and then apparently the whole tribute to Yesterday wasn't with Paul singing for a woman. It's actually John Lennon singing to Paul McCartney because they had a fight and he's the one who died.
Yeah, I got chills.
But the reason why it made so much news is because a news article, a radio station, actually started playing it and say like, "Hey, Paul McCartney's actually dead," and they started playing the tracks backwards, and they started saying it, and they started pointing it out like, "Yo, this happened. This isn't some weird conspiracy theory. Like, this is actually in these tracks. Listen to your records, do something, and that's not the real Paul McCartney."
That's wild. Whatever happened to the radio station?
I'm not sure. I don't remember. But apparently, I think that's also the reason why I think George Harrison and the group was killed off because of him trying to expose the truth.
Who's
Same
George
thing with
Harrison in the group?
He's the other. I think he's the other guitar player. And that's the same thing with John Lennon. He also was killed by that one guy.
That's wild. I do remember hearing like vaguely about that he died in a car accident and that they replaced him or something like that. But I didn't like look into it because literally the only Beatles song I know is Come Together.
I could be wrong with some of the details, but like it's been years since
Yeah.
I've seen that fucking theory. But I was just like, it's one of those ones that like, oh, it actually has significance.
The math's
in time.
kind of massive.
Yeah.
Damn, that's so wild. I love those rabbit holes.
Yeah, no, there's a lot.
Fuck,
Go
dude.
insane. And that's how people go insane because
Yeah.
that's where people start not believing in the truth and then start distinguishing between actual people.
Yeah, I definitely do buy into the whole, into the clones of celebrities and like the replacing them and shit like that.
Kind of like the Mandela effect.
Oh,
I
man.
love
that
that
one.
one.
That one.
Did y'all see that girl on TikTok who, like, she literally was like, I'm going to prove that Fruit of the Loom had the fucking cornucopia
yeah.
in their logo, and she found it, and a bunch of people found real old shit and submitted
T-shirts
it,
and stuff, right?
and Fruit of the Loom ended up sending her a cease and desist. Yeah. So at first it was just a fun little game, and Fruit of the Loom TikTok, they were like, no guys, like go on our website. We have every logo we've ever had mapped out. So they were just kind of being, because it was also when like the hype started about like companies having online presences and like being funny and sassy and like replying back. And so for a minute, everybody was like, oh my God, Fruit of the Loom is so funny. And then she was like, Fruit of the Loom, why are you gaslighting us? Like, I know this happened. And everybody's story is the same. It's like, I literally would never have known what the fuck a cornucopia was had it not been for Fruit
yes,
of the
that's
Loom.
how I found out what it was.
And then finally, when she started getting actual evidence, and she actually ended up finding the fucking, I don't remember what it's called, the trademark maybe, but she found actual like legal like business paperwork that Fruit of the Loom filed, because all that shit is fucking public information,
Yeah.
I guess. And so after that, and she put it on TikTok, they sent her a cease and desist, and she was like, okay, well, I've already given you guys all the information that I have anyways. She was like, I'm not taking my videos down, but I can't talk about it anymore.
Y'all know who Pimp C is from UGK?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
he
R.I.P.
got
King.
put out for trying to expose books like this. Like, that's what
I've actually never looked into how Pimp C died.
So supposedly it was an overdose, right? Like in a hotel room in the bathroom, I think, because they all die on the toilet, right? So then, you know,
They don't even try
everybody's
no
like,
more. Like,
everybody's like, no, you know, no, like the way he was, there's no way he was real knowledgeable. Like, you know, he wasn't out here doing some dumb stuff. Like, he didn't go out easily like that, you know? And that the conspiracy theory started where like, no, you know, he was trying to like tell us, like he came out of prison and he was trying to tell us certain things. He's all like, y'all need to open your like your head, you know, like your mind, like this is what they're trying to do to you, you know. He's a conspiracy theorist. And then he would talk about this book in particular and like, well,
Really? I didn't know
yeah,
that.
and then like so they would I guess, you know, I don't know what you guys would consider the people in school that would listen to UGK, like gangsters or I don't know, you know, that category. Yeah. So it's like, I guess his audience wasn't the correct audience, like, You know, it was like, how many of those people really do give a damn that they are gonna open their minds? They
My
really
mom
are
is the
gonna, hey, you
biggest
know, Pimp C
conspiracy
has a
theorist.
subliminal message behind his music or what he's trying to tell y'all, but you guys are just not the correct audience.
My mom
But
is
that's-
the biggest conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, so, but I mean, cause some of them, you know, like she said, you go down a rabbit hole and you like, this shit
Like that
adds
shit where
up,
they like take little kids and get their cells or whatever and give it to
Oh,
the celebrities,
yeah.
that type
Oh,
of shit.
and
She's
Adrenochrome?
so on hard
Yeah.
about that. Like
Yeah,
she's
she-
like, that's just real.
Yeah,
and I'm
I've
like,
seen Ryan Garcia
"Oh,
where like
I don't put nothing
they're
past
making
these
him look
celebrities."
crazy and stuff
Yeah.
because he's all like they're raping the children.
Mhm.
Like y'all need to like come on.
What is it called? Adreno something?
Adrenochrome.
Yeah. We got spooky makeup.
We do have spooky makeup.
I can't see it no more. Now I'm like on the opposite side of the screen.
She's a bat. Show me shoes. Bat shoes. And I got killer clown shoes.
Period.
That's why I'm a clown. Oh, look at my gun. Can't see my gun.
the gun.
You guys, when I first got this entire outfit, do y'all remember in Don't Be a Menace when he was like, should I wear this Uzi with these low tops? That's how I felt. I was like, break yourself. And then I played with it for a whole day and kept shooting her. This has been another episode of The Street Connection. Thank you guys so much for joining us and tuning in to our scary stories. Thank you to my guest for being here and being a part of this episode. Edgar is off screen, but he was also present. Don't let him lie to you. He was here. Catch you guys next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.